Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to the Music City. It's the final game of the regular season as your Hickman County Bulldogs take on the Hume Fogg Blue Knights. First pitch coming your way in a few moments. And it's just about showtime from the beautiful ES Rose Park, the home of the Belmont Bruins. And this afternoon, it's the home of the Hume Fogg Blue Knights as they play host to your visiting Hickman County Bulldogs for what will be the final game of the regular season. I'm Josh Copley, joined by Colby, Shelton, and what an experience this is, not just for the players and coaches, but for us as well. They have us absolutely decked out up in here in this awesome press box. The seats are nice, and you see over the left field foul pole that Nashville skyline, the Batman building, standing in the distance. And we're going to be skipping all the pageantries, the national anthem, and the starting lineups because of inclement weather that's supposed to be on the way. And Colby, what a fun atmosphere we've got here in downtown Nashville.
Absolutely, it's going to be great experience for these kids and just a fun time. I mean, this is perfect day so far. Weather's holding up for now, and we'll see how much we get it. I think it'll be a couple hours. So, yeah, this will be fun. This is a good bounce back game from what we saw last night from the Dogs. We saw 10 hits, 11 hits, and a walk in there. So, maybe today's game plan is do the same thing, but let's just capitalize. I mean, it was really that close last night. So, yeah, good bounce back game. Last game before district tournament, so very important at bats.
And Colby, it's funny, last night we were talking about how Hickman County hadn't played a game on turf all year, and now here they are playing back-to-back games on turf. And I got to talk to the assistant coach of the Bulldogs, Craig Shelton, and he was super excited about the dugouts. I mean, if you walk down there, Colbs, it looks like a professional dugout.
Yeah, some of that stuff is just cool, like actual dugouts. No, it's cool just to do stuff like this, and it feels like a minor league park, but a major league setting for these kids, and that's cool. It's just cool to do.
So leading off for the Bulldogs, number 14, Major Qualls. As we said, we're getting right into the action. First pitch, in there for called strike one. Major Qualls racked up 3 hits last night against the Raiders. And again, he is just swinging it, ladies and gentlemen. Major Qualls, on the second pitch of the game, reaches on a leadoff single back up the box.
Yeah, he's been awesome as of late, and my favorite part about him right now is now when he's on base with the 2 guys swinging it as hot as they have been behind him, but him being able to use those wheels and really create chaos in the bag.
He steps off and takes a look over at Qualls. They're well aware of the threat he poses on the base paths. Now it's Andy Kraft digging into the right-handed batter's box. Kraft recorded the Bulldogs' first hit yesterday with a double into the left center field gap. And he's first pitch swinging and fouls it into his own dugout. Qualls, pretty good lead off first. The feet ever so jittery. Another look over to first. Qualls back in easily, could probably add a couple of steps to his lead. High leg kick, Qualls takes off, pitch misses inside, throw down, 1 hop, and it's an easy stolen base for the speedy leadoff hitter.
That's what he does, man. He's added those hard hits of late, but the whole year he's been able to do that. I mean, just get great jumps and use those legs, which is his best ability.
1-1 count to Kraft. He swings away, fouls it, and now he's down in the count 1-2. The 1-2 to Kraft. Off speed, he goes down and gets it, pops it behind shortstop, and it drops in front of the left fielder. Qualls takes off from second, throw to third. He's safe, and Andy will take second behind him. So just putting the ball in play And good things will happen. The Dogs have second and third, nobody out for the 3-hole hitter, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. And now
Yeah,
we take a look at the defensive alignment for the Blue Knights. In left field, it's Maxim Miller. In center field, Jonathan Kleinstick. And in right field, it's Miles Jeffries. At third base, Drake Curry. At shortstop, Avon Sharma. At second base, Bennett Brock. At first base, Isaac Brown. Behind the plate is Connor McGarr. And on the bump is Desi Vecchio. And Vecchio goes back to the windup. Spiegelmeyer takes a healthy cut, comes up empty. Count even 1-1. And Colby, when we see Aiden Spiegelmeyer, it's hard not to be reminded of his fantastic play in the outfield yesterday. A diving snag in left center, full extension, but it felt like it was never in doubt.
no, it just felt like it was more probable each step he took, and him getting there was not a surprise, honestly. Even though it was a fantastic play, it was something you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. An athlete like him that is able to just go and get the ball like that.
2-2, Vecchio delivers to Spigs and misses outside. And he's worked the count full 3-2. The 3-2 got him swinging, and that's a big first out for Hume Fogg. And that brings in the cleanup hitter, Carter Bates, who hit probably one of the hardest balls of the night last night, which kicked off the glove of the second baseman. And you could really put that in the book as a hit because of how hard he hit it. Not an easy play at all. Bates looking to replicate that contact. Could maybe drive in a couple of runs to boot. The 1-0 to Bates. Chop foul. You can feel that cool breeze. Rain imminent. The 1-1. Bates swings, skies it to center field. Center fielder slipped up a bit, still makes the play. Strong throw in, cut off by the pitcher Vecchio. Kraft in a rundown, and he's tagged out at third. So a nice relay play by the Blue Knights, but the run will stand, and the Bulldogs take a 1-0 lead. Hume Fogg set to take their first cuts when we come back. And as we gear up for the bottom half of the first inning, we can take a look at the Hickman County defensive alignment. First, with the outfield from left to right, it's Major Qualls in left, Aiden Spiegelmeyer in center, and Wyatt Bates out in right. For the infield, it's Ruger Toddy in the lineup playing third base. At shortstop, it's Andy Kraft. At second base, it's Braden Chesser. At first base, it's John Michael Lewis. Braden McCaleb has the duties of catching. And on the mound, it's the senior Carter Bates. And we've seen both of the prominent senior arms on this team in the last 2 days. Last night, it was John Michael was toeing the slab as the starter, and now it's Carter. And Coach DeShane really going to get to see what his best arms are looking like as we gear up for the district tournament.
Absolutely. I think this is a pretty good decision by him to throw JM last night and go Carter tonight, just to get them some last innings before getting into the big games next week. And just like that, that's the point I wanted to make about how effective Carter Bates can be tonight. We haven't seen him much with that little arm issue he has, but he's back. And what we saw earlier this year was working fast, getting ahead in the counts and throwing a lot of strikes, and he does that just as good as most. And that's fun. A quick out right there.
And that ball was scalded by the leadoff man, Austin Sandberg, the designated hitter. But a nice play by Braden Chesser.
That's a harder play than what people think too, because the ball is blistered. Sometimes I couldn't really tell the spin on it. Sometimes it's just knuckling at you. So you really have to be a catcher in the field. Good play by Braden Chesser over there to reel that one in.
And Chesser used to the hot corner over at third, so line drives, I'd say he's pretty familiar with. So it's Isaac Brown, the two-hole hitter, stepping in for the Blue Knights. He takes the first pitch downstairs for a ball. Bates goes with the fastball. This one also out of the zone. He's ahead 2-0. Called strike one on the outside corner. Bates again dotting the outer edge. And he can live there. 2-2. The pitch, chopper to first, tough hop, but played nicely by Lewis. Takes it himself, and it's 2 up and 2 down for the Dogs.
That's these two at-bats have been the Carter Bates we saw earlier in the year. Getting up in the count, making them earn the at-bat, them being the other team, and both being just opposite way ground balls. I guess the first one was a hard hit line drive right at someone, but so he gets contact. Most of the time it's soft and gets quick outs from it.
It's the three-hole hitter, the pitcher, Desi Vecchio, and it's an even count, 1-1. That one bounces up to McCaleb. Easy take for Vecchio. Breaking ball, hit sharply up the middle. Chesser gives it a look, and it's past his outstretched glove, and it's a 2-out single for the Hume Fogg pitcher. And that does keep the inning alive for the cleanup hitter, the catcher, Connor McGarr. So, Colby, I know Hickman County got 2 up and 2 down pretty quickly, but we've seen some pretty hard-hit balls from the Blue Knights so far.
Yes, we have, and some of it has been kind of that last one was a breaking ball that just stayed too much in the zone, caught too much of the play. That hard hit ball at Braden Chesser in the first at bat of the game was kind of just something middle. So throwing strikes is important, but being able to locate in the zone is different than just throwing strikes. It's not just throwing something down the middle every time and praying that it doesn't get hit. Being able to locate your stuff where you and the catcher ultimately decide to go to is the big equation there, and that's why it's hard to pitch, man, because you can't always execute. So as a hitter, you're looking to hit those mistakes.
So Bates behind in the count, 2-0, now 3-0 to McGarr. And as their name would suggest, Hume Fogg, the Blue Knights, rocking the blue jerseys, black sleeves. Runner thought about breaking, but was just trying to draw some attention, and it's a 4-pitch walk, which brings in the center fielder, Jonathan Kleinstick. Now batting for the Knights, number 14, Jonathan Kleinstick. And after yielding a run in the top of the first, Hume Fogg threatening to get it right back. So Bates, now all of a sudden, runner in scoring position he has to contend with. First pitch swinging, skied to left field, shallow left, Qualls in a dead sprint, loses the hat, but makes the play. So a couple of runners reach, one on a single, one on a walk, but Carter able to strand a pair. And Colby, we can talk about the good news of today being able to play at the beautiful ES Rose Park in downtown Nashville, the home of the Belmont Bruins. But sadly, I think we also have to relay some bad news to the people that are listening in. Originally, tomorrow at 11 a.m., it was supposed to be the alumni game for any former Hickman County High School baseball players, but due to the projected weather that's coming in overnight, they decided to move it to June 13th. So again, the Hickman County High School baseball alumni game is now June 13th and not tomorrow, April 25th. And I know you're bummed out, Colbs.
Yeah, good to know, because I haven't even thought about stretching yet. Now I'm gonna need to, even if I play, I'm gonna need to stretch for overnight to the next day. So actually, pretty good news for me. But no, June. What would you say? June what?
13th.
June 13th. Circle those dates on the calendar, and it'd be cool to have a bunch of alumni there. I know I'd just like to see old friends and people in the program, and I bet it, I mean I think everyone would. So yeah, circle that on the calendar, and let's see you out there. That'd be fun.
Absolutely, Colbs. And as much as it bums us out that we can't play in it tomorrow, I think it's the right call. You don't want to deal with any sloppy fields, even if it's not raining at the time. The last thing you want to do when you're trying to have fun is run around in mud. It slows you down. The ball gets all gross. So props to those in charge of that for making the good decision of pushing that back to a different date, and hopefully the sun shines on us on June 13th. And as of now, we're just hoping the rain can hold off so that we can get through this game. And we're about to start the top of the second inning. It'll be Braden Chesser leading off for the Bulldogs. It's 5, 6, and 7. Braden Chesser had some solid at-bats in the loss yesterday against Spring Hill. He recorded a pair of base hits. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And Chesser, first pitch swinging, strike one. Second pitch at the knees, called strike two. So Chesser behind in the count, but this is where he feels most comfortable. The 0-2 from Vecchio, high fastball, and Chesser's down swinging. So now stepping in will be John Michael Lewis, hitting in the 6 hole for the Bulldogs and playing first base. Last night he had a pretty good pitching performance at the plate. He went 1 for 4 and picked up the hat trick with 3 strikeouts at the dish. And Colby, last night we saw Lewis limited to only 3 innings or so on the mound, but they were 3 solid innings of work, and he unloads on a 1-0 pitch. Well foul.
Yeah, he didn't look bad. Got in some trouble towards the end of his outing, and that's when you saw that big 4th inning from Spring Hill. Kind of started with him a little bit with a double, and then we saw that the only actual walk that he gave up all night, which is pretty good for John Michael, but it just seemed to unravel, and then you saw Seal come in, and tough situation for him to fix that and limit the damage. But first 3 innings, he looked great. He looked exactly like we know John Michael can be.
1-2 breaking ball. Lewis hits that one deep to left field. Out of here! John Michael Lewis goes yard. A breaking ball that caught way too much of the plate, and the Columbia State commit made him pay for it. And they'll be looking for that baseball on Broadway.
Tell you what, that was mashed. I mean, we saw. I went to that game that had the big delay, and we didn't get to do over there in. I'm blanking, but the other home run he hit this year, and that one kind of seemed like it just floated, carried the wind. That thing, if there was wind today, that's going right through it. I mean, that was just smashed.
And Ruger Toddy, a sharp line out to the second baseman. And Colby, is it fair to say Ruger Toddy is the unluckiest player in this lineup? In the few at-bats we've seen him have these last 2 weeks, he's hit the ball really hard, but both times they've been lineouts right at the second baseman. A nice read and catch by Brock.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw in the last home game on Tuesday, he came in for a pinch hit, one pitch, and hit maybe the hardest hit ball all night, right at the third baseman. Has been a little unlucky, but you know, you like to think the law of averages, it'll come back around for him.
And Bates pops out to the shortstop Sharma, who was battling the wind a little bit, but ends up making the catch, and that ends the inning, but not before the Bulldogs put one more on the board, courtesy of John Michael Lewis. So Colby, John Michael, he is such an easy guy to root for. Great kid on and off the field. And he's been struggling a bit at the plate. He's had a bit of a strikeout problem, and nobody needed that or deserved that more than him.
Yeah, he's got all the talent in the world, and we've seen shades of that all year this year, and it's just that chase problem and getting behind on counts is kind of reared its ugly head a lot lately. But that's, I mean, usually just a hard hit ball somewhere to drive in a run or something will get you back locked in. But I could only imagine how a hard hit ball over the left field wall would have you feeling. So you got to think that helps some confidence there, and maybe we see John Michael get back on the right track. It's a good time to do it for just in time for next week.
Yeah, Colby, and if this is the John Michael we're getting going into the district tournament, we know that kind of play is contagious. And if Hickman County feeds off that, they're going to be a tough team to beat in the district. And I want to give you some dimensions of this ballpark because remember, this isn't your average everyday high school field. This is a collegiate field. In left field, down the line's the shortest at 330. In left center, it's 375. And in center field, it's 400. And those same dimensions mirror each other on the right side. So a pretty big ballpark, and Lewis made it look tiny.
I'll even say too, the walls are higher too than your typical ballpark. So, yeah, that one was hit. He earned that home run, I guess is how we should say it.
And Carter Bates way ahead on Bennett Brock, the second baseman. He's tasked with leading things off. The 0-2 misses upstairs for ball one. The 1-2 pops him up. McCaleb gives it a look, and it's into the stands foul. It drops right in front of our camera and into the lap of Chris Seal.
A lot of people stood up about to make the play, and no one could. So I just want to see that one time this year. That's all.
Yeah, I heard the loud clanging of the bleachers, and you know what that means. But Bates still way ahead in the count, 1-2 to Brock. The pitch. Breaking ball crosses just a bit too high above the letters to even the count 2-2.
Not a bad miss, though. Changing eye level up. Maybe he goes low and away right here.
Called strike three, dotting the fastball. And that's the first strikeout of the game for Carter on the mound. And that brings in number 5, Maxim Miller, the left fielder, taking his first cut. And the first pitch, nice pick by McCaleb. Saw some pellets fly as he makes the snag. 1-0. And again, Carter leaning on the fastball, working away. He's not trying to challenge inside. But whenever these Bulldog pitchers have been at their best, they've been able to hit that outside corner. And he does it 2 times now. He's way ahead in the count, 1-2 to Miller. again. This one, a few inches off the plate.
Yeah, knowing that he can hit that corner, maybe try to expand right there, see if the hitter would expand the zone.
And a nasty breaking ball. And Miller comes up empty. 2 hitters retired by way of the K in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, expanding the zone kind of like that, Josh. That was pretty textbook pitching, is just keep going outside further and further and further and getting a chase.
So now it's Avon Sharma, the shortstop. He ended the last half inning catching the Wyatt Bates pop-up and now tries to turn around and get a 2-out rally going at the plate. Carter Bates this time tries to work inside, misses well off the plate, and Sharma has to jump out of the way. Goes right at him. Fastball over the heart of the plate, popped up, shallow left field. Andy Kraft backpedaling, and he makes the catch. And Bates retires the side in order. The Dogs looking to add some insurance as we head on to the third. So, Colby, we've said this a few times, but this game is important, even though it's not a district game, but it can get you in the right headspace for the tournament that starts next Monday. So there's not much rest for these Dogs after this game concludes, because they have to turn around and play Lewis County on Monday, first pitch at 4:30. And we saw these two teams split 1 game apiece the last time they met in the only series they played against one another, and it really feels like it could go either way. And that's the matchup you want. You want to settle the score. You're tied at 1. Winner goes on to the district championship.
Yeah, we saw in that first game against Lewis County, which I would think they'd probably throw this guy, but Colt Skelton, we saw an incredible game from him. Yeah, really just silenced the Bulldog batters, but Dogs came back when they got home and finished that series and tied it up. So, yeah, it'd be exciting game 1. It's if they get a shot at Colt Skelton again, I feel like they would relish in the opportunity, at least have the opportunity to go back after him.
So Braden McCaleb flies out on an 0-1 pitch, and the lineup turns back over to Major Qualls. He started the game off with a hard-hit single into center field. He would eventually come around to score on the Carter Bates sac fly. First pitch, and he dots the outside corner, a backdoor breaking ball. And Major, not too thrilled with the call, but that's why you get 3. The 0-1, and Quall swings, chops it back to the mound. That's going to be a tough play. And the speed of Quall's not quite enough, and the pitcher Vecchio makes the play himself. So after Carter Bates set down the Blue Knights in order, Hume Fogg trying to replicate. Now it's number 6, Andy Kraft. He's 1 for 1. He had that base hit, the blooper that fell in between the left fielder and the shortstop. First pitch, over, strike 1.
Yeah, if we go back to the first, he was the final out there, trying to stretch it to 3, going to third, and man, that's a rip right up the middle.
And Vecchio had to throw his glove up in an act of self-preservation, and it snow-coned off the glove and into center field, a hard-hit base hit. Andy Kraft, in 3 innings, has 2 hits.
Yeah, this top 3 has been pretty good of late, and you would expect nothing less from these guys right now.
And with 2 outs and Spiegelmeyer at the plate, who fouled that one hard into his own dugout. Heard some yelps and gasps down there by the dogs.
Josh, what do you think about this hoodie trend right here? We see Spigs with like a short sleeve hoodie under his jersey. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, Colbs. I think I'm more of a traditionalist. Kraft takes off, throw down way late, and it's a stolen base. But yeah, Colby, I prefer just wearing the jersey. If you want to wear some sleeves, some compression sleeves under it, that's one thing. But to have a whole hoodie under the jersey, I don't know. Maybe I'm just showing my age. And Spiegelmeyer hits this one high in the left field. The left fielder, Miller, doesn't really have to move to make the play, and Kraft is stranded at second. So we're about to be underway with the bottom of the third. It's 9-1-2 due up for the Blue Knights. Drake Curry, the third baseman, will act as the leadoff hitter. And Hume Fogg has hit the ball pretty hard, just not much to show for it. Bates' first pitch misses low for ball 1.
Yeah, that first inning they did hit the ball a couple times pretty hard, but I think that last inning is kind of what you saw. What we saw all year from Carter Bates kind of summed up in an inning. 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging, and just a soft fly out to the infield.
The 2-0 pitch bounced in front of the plate. Nice job by McCaleb, a pinpoint throw. And it's 1 up and 1 down to start the home third.
Yeah, great awareness by Tractor right there to be able to see that and just pounce on it. We've talked earlier in the year about the better catchers defensively. They have that like gear where they can just go and pounce on the ball and put it where it needs to be.
And a drag bunt by Sandberg. Bates makes the play. Throw is way late. And it's a 1-out infield single. And remember, Sandberg was the one that hit the ball on the screws his first time right at Braden Chesser. So we know he's pretty comfortable with a bat in his hands, but when you run like that, you haven't gotten many base runners, why not give it a try?
Yeah, that was an excellent bunt. You see it, we see it in Major too, but both left-handed batters, so they almost have a step and a half over the right-handed batter. So just laying one down the line and digging it out, that was a pretty good play.
So it's back to Isaac Brown. He grounded out to the first baseman Lewis, his first time. Bates starts him with a strike. Slide step, runner goes, pitch out. McCaleb's throw is a good one, and he's safe. Just barely got under the tag, and Sandberg claims second.
Yeah, I mean that was a really good play by the Dogs. It wasn't even too bad of a throw. That's just a good runner, just beating, just a good jump from the runner on Carter Bates, and just beating a throw. That's how you steal a bag right there.
So the pitch out, even the count 1-1. Bates still working that slide step, off speed. Diving play by Chesser from his wallet. He got him. How about the freshman flashing the leather? And now it's 2 outs for Bates on the mound. And the runner Sandberg does advance to third, but now it'll take a 2-out hit to score him. And it's the pitcher, number 22, Desi Vecchio, and he did have their first hit of the game back in the first inning.
Yeah, that was an incredible play. It saves a run and gets you an out. And
that ball smoked. Oh, wow. Lewis with a diving play, and he takes it himself to the bag. The Golden Glove Dogs. Someone call the cops. This has been straight robbery by the Bulldog defense.
I mean, that's unbelievable. Back-to-back plays to save a run. If you're Hume Fogg right there, you got to be sick to your stomachs that's how that inning just ended. 2 like pretty solid hits, honestly. Like that last one was kind of soft, but like good placement where you think, okay, that's at least going to drive home a runner. And both of them just robbed, like you said. Full transparency, I starred both of those plays in the scorebook so we could remember that, just like I did Spigs last night. Just some good plays happening for the Dogs, which is very different than what we saw earlier in the year for sure.
And Colby, we talk about how hitting is contagious. How about defense? Maybe Aiden Spiegelmeyer started a little bit of something last night with his diving play against Spring Hill. These Bulldogs trying to replicate it, and they've been doing a pretty good job of it.
It's definitely something where you hear sometimes with defenses in the NFL or in football that a lot of it's just effort. Not a lot of plays. It's just an effort. It's a motor thing. Similar to defense in baseball, you gotta want the ball. You gotta want to go make the play. And yeah, recently the Dogs look like they do. I think a couple weeks ago we saw some just errors, some plays where you're like, Dogs look asleep at the wheel. I think we said that, but tonight and last night they do not. They look like they want to be. They want the ball hit to them, and they want to make the play, and that's pretty cool feeling.
And Colby, we talk about the differences between good teams and great teams. Good teams make the routine plays, but great teams make the difficult plays. And if you want to beat those really, really stout opponents, you got to make some tough plays. And the Bulldogs, if they take this defense with them into the tournament, I say again, they're going to be a tough team to beat. Now it's going to be Carter Bates leading us off, the cleanup hitter for the Dogs. He doesn't have a registered at-bat of the game because he had the sacrifice fly, which ended up being an inning-ending double play, so a roller coaster of emotions the last time Bates had a bat in his hand. Starts off with a foul ball. Inside pitch, dotting the corner. Not much Carter can do with that one. Now behind in the count, Vecchio delivers. Chop to third, and it's off the glove of the third baseman Curry and in the left field. So the Dogs have a leadoff base runner, courtesy of the E5.
Hey, 2 strikes on you. Put the ball in play. Good things will sometimes happen, and that's exactly what you needed for the Dogs, just to get a base runner on to start the inning. No outs, and Braden Chester's starting to had a big hit last night, and you think he's starting to find his form again, so maybe this could be a big inning for the Dogs right here.
Kylan Seal in the courtesy run for the pitcher Bates, and Vecchio steps off and gives him a look. Long pause, high leg kick. Chester squares to bunt down the first baseline, perfectly placed. He lets it roll, and it's on the line, fair. A perfect bunt by Chesser. And what a last couple of frames he's been having, Colby. The diving play at second, and now putting down a bunt that you couldn't walk out there and place down any better than that. And Vecchio, I think, made the correct call to not touch it. I mean, it looked like a sure foul ball from our vantage point.
Yeah, that ball just died right on top of the line. It's perfect bunt.
Now Lewis with 2 runners on. He squares to bunt, puts it down between the catcher and the pitcher. Nobody covering. It's another infield hit for the Dogs, and the bases are loaded with no out. And Colby, how about the versatility of this Bulldog lineup? John Michael just smoked a home run in his last at-bat, and now he's laying down bunts and getting infield hits.
I was going to say never in a million years would you think if you're in the field or pitching right there, this guy's going to lay a bunt down. He just went yard the 2 innings before. So, yeah, pretty incredible by John Michael to follow up a bunt single with a bunt single. Bases loaded, no outs, and Mr. Toddy has hit some hard balls lately. Maybe he can get one through right here.
And Toddy pops this one foul out of play. And the count's even 1-1. And yeah, Colbs, we talked about how much John Michael really needed and deserved that home run because of the rut he was in. I feel like Toddy's also one of those guys who's been a senior leader on this team who's due for one. 1-1. Toddy takes up and in. And of course, a hit by a pitch or a walk is still an RBI.
Yeah, anyway, anyhow. You know, you're going up there just to drive a run in however you can do it.
And the infield's playing in for the Blue Knights. Toddy, foul tip into the catcher's mitt. Count goes even 2-2.
I mean, he's on that pitch. He just a little, it looked like he just got under it a little bit, but he's on it.
The 2-2 delivery, Toddy into left field. That'll drop in for a hit. Steele scores. Stop sign up for Chester at third. And it's an RBI single for the senior Ruger Toddy. And you could just hear the crowd erupt on that base hit by Ruger. As much as he wanted it for himself, these fans wanted it for him too.
Yeah, he's like you said earlier, he's due for something like that, and he earned that at bat too, getting deep into the count, just working something where he could get a ball to hit.
And Bates chopper under the glove of the shortstop Sharma. 1 run scores. Again, the stop sign put up, and the Dogs go station to station. 4-0 Hickman County. Now it's Wyatt Bates who caught some barrel. And Colby, I want to go back to the Ruger Toddy hit too, because Ruger's a strong kid, a football player, played on the line in football. He didn't really catch barrel on that ball in the left field, maybe off the handle, but he just forced it into the outfield for a hit, and now Wyatt Bates taking advantage of the infield playing in. Sharma really had no play on it. It would have to have been perfectly read. So back-to-back RBI singles, and now Tractor, Braden McCaleb, who has been one of Hickman County's big RBI guys, hasn't found himself in too many spots to do that the last month or so. But now a big chance here to blow this one wide open, and McCaleb cranks this one foul.
Last person we saw that hit a hard foul ball way deep left field line, followed it up with a home run 2 innings ago, John Michael. So, not saying history usually repeats itself, but that's what my history teacher told me in high school.
The 0-2 to McCaleb, and he pops it up. This one's out of play, into the stands. Takes a big hop, and again, Colby, I see you throw your arms up in the air. Nobody making a play.
I need someone to make a play down there, and I know they can hear us, but we just need a play being made.
McCaleb, third base line, just foul. That was almost a big 2 more runs for the Dogs.
Still no outs here. It's important to still not hit into the double play. I know you can only control what you can control, but just finding a way to drive in the run, whether it's a sack or even just a base hit, obviously.
0-2, McCaleb hits this one hard to left field. He's under it. Makes the catch. Lewis tags at third, and he scores easily. And Braden McCaleb with the sac fly RBI, 5-0 Dogs. They've scored 3 in the 4th inning. And Colby, that was a rally organized by the bottom half of the order. And if they're doing that kind of damage, when it rolls over to the top like it is right now, opponents beware. Major Qualls, who's swung it pretty well. He singled the lead off the game, then grounded out back to the pitcher. Now that's a line drive into left center field. That's going to roll to the wall. The center fielder slides. Ruger scores. Bates coming around third. He scores. And it's a 2-run double for Major Qualls. And Colby, we talked about how the big field is hard to hit home runs out of earlier. Big fields are also hard for outfielders because there's a lot of ground they have to cover. And Major hit a ball pretty similar to that yesterday at Spring Hill, but that being a smaller field, didn't get him extra bases. So now Qualls leads off second. Nobody holding him on, even with one out. Which, of course, as I say that, Sharma creeps in behind him. Still with one out. Kraft, swing and a miss. Kraft trying to add on. He's 2 for 2. Takes one that bounces to the plate. Kraft he's been on both ends of the spectrum. He's had a softly hit base hit and a hard hit base hit. Both singles. Vecchio kicks and deals. That's scalded past the shortstop into left field. Throw to the plate. And Qualls slides in head first. And that could have been catastrophic if the catcher comes down on him because he had to leap up to catch the ball from the left fielder Miller. But Major pops up quickly and he seems to be all right. And it's an RBI knock for Andy Kraft, who again takes second after the throw in.
Yeah, that's why you teach your catchers you want to catch that thing in front of the plate to avoid that. But the actual play, I mean, it was almost a perfect hit for Andy Kraft as the shortstop is playing kind of in, holding Major. The left side was wide open for Andy Kraft.
And Spiegelmeyer pops this one up, the shortstop, Sharma under it. Oh, and he makes a very shaky grab, but a catch nonetheless. And the throw in gets away from the pitcher. The catcher wasn't ready for it. And a very heads-up job by Kraft at second to read it. And he's 90 feet away from another run. So Vecchio back in the windup. Bates pops it to second. He makes the call, and he can't make the catch. It's off the glove of Bennett Brock. And Carter reaches on the E4, 9-0 Dogs. And the Bulldogs have batted around now in the inning. And Colby, it's hilarious. He started this inning with an E5, ground ball to the third baseman. Now he reaches again in the same inning on an error by the second baseman on a pop-up.
2 errors this inning. Well, I guess that's not even true because there's an error on that throw for Kraft to move to third. But 2 in-play errors, I'll say, off the bat errors. And they were both to start the inning and then the last play so far of the inning, both off the bat of Carter Bates. Wild sequence, but Dogs have officially battered around.
Hickman County doing what they haven't done recently, and that is taking advantage of mistakes by the opponent. Now Braden Chesser back in for the second time this inning. Counts even 1-1. It misses just inside. Kylan Seal again back in a courtesy run. Chesser, he reached on that bunt single last time up in the inning that died on the first base line. And Vecchio steps off, trying to keep Seal honest.
And it has been such a good inning for the Dogs. Everyone but Spiggs and Braden McCaleb have scored this inning. How about that?
The 1-1 pitch in there for called strike 2. And Colby, that's when you're living right as an offense. Kylan breaks 1-2. Chesser goes out and gets it. Lines it into center field. Seal shoots through second. Throw to third is high. And he's in there safe. Kylan on the hit and run, never once thought about stopping. He had third base on the mind. And what a piece of hitting by Braden Chesser.
Yeah, good piece of hitting, throwing the barrel out there and looping something in the outfield. Really good base running, too, by Seal to pick the third base coach up, which is Coach Duchesne today, and just not stopping, like you said. If he would have stopped, he's probably out. Like, even a hesitation. He didn't. He just kept going, and good slide into third base right there, first and third.
John Michael in the box, and he wears one off the back. So he's already had a stellar day at the plate with a home run and a single. Now add a hit by pitch. The bases are now loaded once again for Ruger Toddy. And Colby, I was going to say my favorite phrase, John Michael was halfway to the cycle with a home run and a single, sadly unable to add to that progress that last AB. But now Ruger a chance to do some more damage. Toddy swings first pitch, pops it, shallow right field. This is going to be a tough play. Right fielder can't find it. It drops in. Seal scores, Chesser scores, and Lewis over to third. 2 more runs for the Dogs, make it 11-0. Hickman County has plated 9 in the top of the 4th. So Ruger Toddy, after that single into right field, dropped in just in front of the right fielder Jeffries. Toddy now 2 for 3, 3 RBIs, and all 3 of those RBIs in this inning alone.
Yeah, it's been a great inning for the Dog, not only from the actual game, but statistically for some of these boys too. But yeah, it's been fun so far, and as you said, right before we started talking again, we're getting into that territory we don't want to talk about or jinx, but it's 9-0 right now. Let's just say that. Yeah. Excuse me, 11-0. So we're definitely in that territory of maybe going home early.
And the rain has finally started to roll in, so maybe not the worst thing in the world. The Bulldogs chose a good day to bring their bats with them to Nashville. So Colby, as we await the new pitcher to finish his warm-ups, I want to brag a little bit more on how awesome this facility is that we're at today at ES Rose Park. So with the rain rolling in, that would usually be a big problem for us with our camera, pretty sensitive stuff. You don't want it to get rained on. So our camera over is to the right of us in the middle of the press box. The window's wide open, but it's still safe because of this big overhang we have. So props to those who built this ballpark thinking ahead. So Coach Jesse Blair of Hume Fogg has elected to go with a southpaw out of the bullpen. Number 4, Thaddeus Sparkman will be the pitcher. And this benefits the Dogs, a lineup full of right-handed batters with the exception of Major Qualls. Now it's Wyatt Bates up for the second time this inning. He had an RBI single and would eventually come around to score. First pitch, heater, big swing, strike 1. High leg kick, look over to first, pumps in another strike. And Sparkman's got some pretty good velo, Colbs. The 0-2 to Bates inside. Missing well off the plate. The 1-2. Bates hits it in the air to right field. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch. So a long fourth inning for the Dogs. They plate 9 runs. Your score, Hickman 11, Hume Fogg nothing. So now, Colby, it's been a while since a Hickman County pitcher has had this kind of cushion to work with. And what does that do for the psyche of a guy on the mound?
Well, I think it can be not great because you sit back and you're not as focused. Maybe you're just like, hey, we're way up, but it's not a bad thing though to be to have an 11-run cushion on the mound. It's just important for Carter Bates to go back out there and do what he's been doing and lock back in. Good thing about high school is he got at bat, so he's not like sitting in the dugout waiting for 30 minutes or however long it was, like you would do in the MLB. But no, it's just you get back to doing what you have been doing this game. I mean, he's looked great today. It's just important to not relax. That's got to be the message right now for everybody, not just Carter Bates. Is stay in the game. Is still important at bats. You're still working towards next week, so let's just get some more work in.
It'll be the cleanup hitter, Connor McGarr, leading off. For the Blue Knights, 4, 5, and 6 due up this inning. And they've got a lot of work to do if they want to battle back in this one. Bates, first pitch breaking ball, misses high. Bates working with that breakneck pace that we're accustomed to seeing out of him. That fastball misses low, maybe slightly away. 2-0 count to McGarr. Goes again with the heater. This one in the zone and fouled straight back. So, Colby, we had a slight drizzle earlier, but I think it's on its way out of here. Hard hit to first, fielded by Lewis. Waves off Bates. He takes it himself. And it's quickly 1 out.
That's a good first out right there. I mean, he kind of he being Carter Bates came out, and I thought the second pitch was borderline strike, so it's not like he fell behind too much. Like, it still looked like his stuff was there, but that was important to get that ground ball, get settled back in. And it's a good sign that he's still right there, still locked in, making his pitches. So good play by John Michael too to clean that up over there.
So Jonathan Kleistick steps in. He flew out to the left fielder, Major Qualls, his first time up, and we just saw one of the assistant coaches, Pat Smith, out there to talk to Braden McCaleb, the catcher, maybe some pitch comm issues. First pitch misses for a ball, but Bates working again. It's fouled back. Hit pretty well to left center. That one will drop in for a hit. Qualls fields it on a hop and throws it into Chesser. And it's the third hit of the game for Hume Fogg.
Yeah, good piece of hitting right there to hit one hard right over the shortstop and have a chance at getting in the gap. But you got 3 really fast kids out there, and so that wasn't getting past them. They were going to take the create angle, cut that off, and limit them to a single there.
So now it's the second baseman, Bennett Brock, crowding the plate. First pitch, Bates tries to go outside, but a bit too far outside. And the last time Brock was up, he went down looking. Pretty decent leadoff first. Bates, long pause, a couple of checks. Slide step. Chopper back to the mound. Bates elects to go the easy route to first. It almost pulled Lewis off the bag. And a nice job of concentration to haul that in with a runner bearing down on him. And we saw Lewis talk to Bates on the mound saying, dude, just take a few more steps. I'm right here. There's no chance of this runner beating your throw.
Yeah, the throw just kind of took him up the line, and I know me and you both know, just playing first, the ball up the line is the scariest because you're just like, oh no, where's that runner at? Is he about to kill me right here? But no, it was a good play by quarter base just to take the out, hand it to him. You're up 11 runs. You don't have to get silly and throw this thing behind you at second base.
But yeah, Colby, could he have gotten the runner at second? Maybe, but you don't want to run that risk and then give them any false hope or momentum of any kind.
Take the sure out and just keep moving.
And that ball's hit pretty well to center. Spiegelmeyer charging, and he makes the catch. So despite a 2-out base knock, Carter's able to strand him. The Dogs lead 11-0, and they're going to be back in the box when we come back for the top of the fifth. So Colby, back on the mound is Thaddeus Sparkman for Hume Fogg, and I was pretty impressed with this young man the last inning.
Yeah, he came in and did a job. I mean, Hume Fogg was really leaking right there in that fourth inning, and came in and kind of slammed the door just for that, and did a good job. Yeah.
So for the Bulldogs, it'll be 9-1-2, starting with Braden McCaleb. He flew out to left field, and he's hit a sacrifice fly. Sparkman delivers to McCaleb. First pitch, a screamer into center field. So all it takes is one pitch for McCaleb to reach on a leadoff single.
Yeah, he just hit a bullet right there. That's I think he's starting to feel it a little bit, which is good sign for the Dogs. When your catcher and 9-hole batter is hitting the ball that hard right now, and he's consistently done it today, it's a good sign for the bottom of the order.
And on top of that, Colby, when we saw McCaleb run off the field, he gave his helmet to Jackson Smith, the courtesy runner. And McCaleb was all smiles. And whenever he's feeling that positivity, that's when he's at his best.
Yeah, he's a happy-go-lucky guy too. Like, he's a bright spot in the dugout, as like most of these guys are. It's a good roster of good young dudes, and he's just one of them.
So now Qualls will have to make some adjustments. He hasn't really seen a lefty in some time. So Qualls was the one guy who'd probably have trouble with Sparkman. The 0-2 misses outside. It runs away. 1-2. Smith pretty decent lead at first, but he has to be mindful of that lefty pickoff. Sparkman likes to implement that high leg kick to keep runners in between. Qualls puts the bat on it and fouls it back.
Yeah, at this point you're down 1-2 in the count. He's really just trying to barrel up a ball and use his speed to get on base. He does that so well, and the plan doesn't change right now.
1-2, a disgusting curveball by Sparkman, and Qualls goes down looking. And Colby, for us up here in the booth, we can't really remember the last time Qualls was frozen on a pitch. He's just seemed so confident and so poised. So I guess he's human after all. Andy Kraft steps in with one away. Runner over at first, and he fouls the first pitch back. And Andy, he's been swinging a hot bat. He's 3 for 3 with 3 singles. Pretty good swing. Fouls it off to the right.
Yeah, he's done a ton today, Josh. He that single in the third, he stole second. The single in the fourth, he drove home a run, and later came in to score. So he's just back to what he's been doing lately, and just hitting the ball hard all over the park and running wild while he's getting on base.
Now he's behind in the count 0-2. Sparkman working fast. Hard hit to the shortstop. And it kicks off the glove and between the legs, and he won't have a play.
I will say he's hit just about every ball in that direction. You know, he's hit 2 singles directly past the shortstop today. He has that error just now, but it was a hard hit error. And then he hit one right up the middle. So that's kind of where his spray chart is right now. But just keep doing you, Andy.
So now it's Aiden Spiegelmeyer takes the first pitch ball in his 4th at-bat. And Colby, we mentioned earlier how Spigs rocks that hoodie underneath. And I told you that I'm more of a traditional kind of guy. But what are your thoughts on the hoodie underneath the jersey?
Yeah, I kind of think we're the last two to talk about swag in baseball or really anything. But I don't know. I got to get used to it, I think.
Spiegelmeyer way ahead 2-0.
I will say on Spigs, he's had a weird day where he doesn't have a hit. And I feel like that's weird because I just keep flipping back in my scorebook the past 2 weeks, and he just keeps racking them up.
And the 2-0 pitch is in for a strike, and you know Spiegelmeyer, he wants nothing more than to join the hit parade, as you said, one of the few guys who hasn't yet.
But he's been so good all year, so it's like you're just confident he's going to get it done.
And he takes the 2-1 pitch, a fastball inside at the shins.
Tell you what, working a count like this, and if he can get on through walk, is just as good. So take what you can get and keep the line moving.
Pickoff looked to second, and Jackson Smith, full extension, had his fingertips on it, not extinction. Goodness gracious.
He is not a dinosaur.
No, that'd be terrible.
But no, he just gets back fully.
Yeah. And the 3-1 pitch misses way outside, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. And now, Colby, every Bulldog has reached base that's in the lineup.
It's kind of wild that he was the last to reach base because, like I said, I just keep flipping through, and like last night, 2 for 4 with 2 singles, a run scored. Night before he was 3 for 4. He just keeps barreling up balls, and so.
And Bates ground ball to short. Sharma fields to second for 1 to first. Can't dig it out, and Kraft breaks for home. Called out at the plate. So Jackson Smith, he comes in to score. His run will stand. It's 12-0 Dogs, but a nice throw by the first baseman, Brown. Good catch and tag by McGar. It keeps the Bulldogs from reaching that unlucky 13, and now all Carter has to do is record 3 outs without giving up 2 runs. Make it 3 runs, actually, right? Because it had to be under 10. Like, they have to be within single digits for this game to keep going, yeah?
Oh, man, I think that's right. I hate that I don't know that, but I didn't realize I did until you just said that. I think you're right, though.
We're going to call in our rules analyst, Jake Martin, and see what he thinks about it.
He is the rules guy for everything. He would know. I mean, he really would. But either way, we can just look back to that last play. I kind of like the send there to go ahead and send Kraft. I mean, you've got a quick dude. You're up big. It's like, let's see if he can just get that done and test the arm. And credit to the first baseman and catcher linking up on that play to nab him at home. It was a bang-bang play. It could have gone either way in my book for calling it. But good relay. Good stop over here at first on that double play that they were never going to get Carter Bates, but first baseman staying with the ball and throwing a strike home, it's a pretty good nab to get a guy like Andy Kraft.
So Bates back on the mound, and whether Hume Fogg has to score 2 or 3, you eliminate that question entirely if you just go 3 up, 3 down and give up no runs.
That's very true. Yeah. Don't even have to think about math, which is awesome when you don't have to think about math, Josh.
It's my favorite part of doing this job.
No math?
No math.
Awesome.
No math, a lot of sports. Although baseball, a pretty mathematical game. I mean, if you keep up with the MLB stats, I mean, they have a stat for pretty much everything.
But I'll tell you what, at this level and what we do, it's pretty simple math.
Oh, yeah.
It's they +1 in the run column or hit column. It's just adding and subtracting. But either way, yeah, I'm not not a big math guy up here.
I'm really thankful I don't have to keep up with how many hits Braden Chester has had on a full moon on a leap year. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little much for me, Colbs.
Yeah.
So now Bates looking to go the distance, not your conventional complete game. First pitch. Sharma pops it up. McCaleb loses the mask. And I suppose he also lost the ball. And maybe there was some confusion with John Michael Lewis charging from first as well.
So McCaleb stopped the pursuit. I just heard John Michael say it. McCaleb turned to John Michael almost as if he obviously had said, "I got it." John Michael said, "No, I said you got it." So maybe what we learned from that is if you're not calling for it, don't say the words "got it." Just say you. That's what we did in high school.
Or, Colby, as a wise man once said,
don't say anything at all.
Nothing.
Yeah, don't say anything at all is also good.
Sharma fouls it off. And I think the crane has since moved. But over in the right field, we see construction on one side. In left field, you've got the skyline. Really that urban feel. And Carter Bates racks up another strikeout. Sharma goes down swinging. That's 3 strikeouts on the day for Carter Bates. And Colby, usually when a pitcher has been as dominant as Bates is, he's usually tallying up more strikeouts, but he hasn't had to tonight.
No, and that's a nice feeling when you don't because it limits your pitches where you feel fresher or more fresh, I guess is what you would say there. But then your defense gets work. It's just and for the batters, it's like you don't go back to the dugout every time, but you're like, man, we can't barrel this guy. Like, we can't get anything going. It's just frustrating for the other team.
The 1-1 pitch. I thought it was 1-1. So, a strikeout, I suppose. And I suppose it's going to stand. The coaches don't protest. So another strikeout for Carter Bates. Make it 4. And now it's back to the top of the lineup, Austin Sandberg.
He's had a bunt single today, stolen a base, and he had that line out to start the game hit right at Braden Chester at probably like 1,000 miles per hour.
Give or take, yeah. Pops it up down the third baseline, drifting out of play. So now Hume Fogg is down to their final strike in what might break the record for fastest broadcast we've had this year.
I love doing these games, but sometimes that's a great stat to just have that and be like, all right, that was fun. Let's go home.
I don't know, Colby. I mean, it's not every day you get to call a game from a collegiate facility and a game where your guys have been doing as well as the Dogs have. So, kind of bummed. The 0-2 pitch from Bates. Missed it outside.
Yeah, just doing what he did earlier in this game, throwing a couple outside, knowing that he's hit some foul and trying to expand the zone, see if he can get a chase.
Goes up and away, count even 2-2. And Colby, now that we talked about the short broadcast, incoming Hume Fogg rallying for 3 runs. Breaking ball, sky to center field. Spiegelmeyer on the move. He makes the catch. And after 5 innings, The Hickman County Bulldogs win via run rule 12-0 over the Hume Fogg Blue Knights, and what a way to end the regular season.
Fantastic way to end it. That was pretty fun right there. Short game, playing at a really cool park, and going out there and just pure domination from Carter Bates to the lineup to the defense. We saw some cool stuff today, and that's a great way to end it and get ready for the big week coming up starting Monday.
And it's a pretty short turnaround, Colby. We mentioned earlier on the broadcast, it'll be Monday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. The Hickman County Bulldogs will be taking on the Lewis County Panthers. So the rivalry that was so heated this past year in basketball continues on into baseball, and I'm so excited to call that game, and I believe it'll be at Riverside. So a long trek.
So buckle up, everyone going, but Dogs need your support. If you can make it, do it. It'll be fun either way. Get to watch some dog baseball and some big moments, some intense moments, and it'll be really important for everyone to show up and cheer them on.
So your final line from E.S. Rose Park, Hickman County finishes with 13 hits, Hume Fogg with 3. The Dogs committed no errors. The Blue Knights committed 4. The winning pitcher is Carter Bates. He threw a complete game, which was only 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, give him the shutout, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts on 61 pitches. Talk about efficiency from one of the Bulldog aces. And it's Desi Vecchio who gets the loss for Hume Fogg. He went 3 2/3, gave up 12 hits, 11 runs, 7 of those were earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. So a silver lining for Vecchio, didn't walk anybody. And it was Thaddeus Sparkman that also came in. He worked an inning and a third, gave up 1 hit, 1 run, none of those earned, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Again, your final score, Hickman County 12, Hume Fogg nothing. And before we say goodbye, reminder, the baseball alumni game that was scheduled for 11 a.m. tomorrow, April 25th, has been rescheduled to June 13th. Again, the alumni game for tomorrow has been rescheduled to June 13th. I know we have had an absolute blast up here in downtown Nashville, Colby, and now it's time for us to get some food.
Can't wait. It's all I've been thinking about all day. Just getting some grub up here with the one and only Josh Copley. But yeah, stoked for the alumni game when it happens. What's the date again?
June 13th.
On June 13th. I clearly need to write it down because I've asked 3 times when it is moved to. But no, stoked for some food and stoked for the alumni game. And even more stoked for big-time Bulldog baseball next week versus Lewis County.
And we are so appreciative of Hume Fogg for being so gracious in hosting us. We have been able to set up in probably one of the best places we've been able to all year. It's a awesome press box, a great view. Our camera was in a great spot. The field is gorgeous. The backdrop is nice. Couldn't ask for much more on a Friday afternoon, and we got the game in before the weather had other ideas. But until we see you guys on Monday, for Colby Shelton, I've been Josh Copley, saying so long from the Music City on WNKX.